As we were coming in to land on the bush traps, you could see the trucks down there with all the camp staff waiting for us to be arriving. And as soon as we arrived, everybody came running over, started loading stuff, loaded into the trucks, and everybody started to meet each other and greet.
Mustafa, how are you, sir? Kevin, how are you?
The camp is out in the middle of nowhere, but they treat you like a hotel.
5-star accommodation in the bush. Let me show you. These are the accommodations we will be using on our quest for the Big 5. I'm going to be working hard looking for my Big 5, possibly my Mini 5 on the safari. This is our little table where I'll be able to charge my stuff, like my satellite phone and my computer, and I'll be able to do put some picture on my computer. So this is the bed that I will use to take my rests on. This is our bathroom accommodations, equipped with the 2 mirrors on the side and the main mirror in the middle. Our dirty clothes hamper. They've already taken our dirty clothes for the day. Cold water and stuff for the cold water for the thunder box. And this is the little ladder they used to get up there to get it.
When you wanted a hot shower, you just yelled out the back of the tent, shower.
Warm water for the showers, and this is how they raise it.
Right away, you had a hot shower, and you would never run out of hot water. If you did, just yell again, and you got more.
After we got done with the tour, Jack called me over and said, you know, come look at this picture of this camp leopard. So I was like, okay, you told me about this leopard. I got to sit down and, you know, look at the pictures. So he showed me the pictures, and they were right outside his tent with the shadow cam, and it was pretty awesome.
Some of these, all you can see are the eyes back in the distance.
Oh,
See that?
eyes.
In Tanzania, one of the requirements is that an animal be more than 1 kilometer from any hunting camp. So the fact that we have this animal feeding 30 yards in front of my tent doesn't come anywhere close to those parameters. After we decided that this was a cat that Mackenzie should hunt, was to move the bait a full kilometer down the Makwasa River, set it up in a tree, and then create a drag of very stinky material that would be taken down the river to lead the animal to the new bait location.
The next few days we spent driving around, checking to see if we could find a buffalo herd crossing the road, but mainly checking trail cameras and hunting along the way. Right there. Not fed on. There's a mane here. See?
Remember there was a piece of meat here before.
Fresh? Oh, there's this piece. Now we're setting up the last bait, probably of the day, because we have no more meat in the truck. This is one of Nigel's favorite spots, and he always sees cats here, so we're hoping since there's a little river right here, it's dried up, but there's some few little pockets.
Within 24 hours, we had automatic camera pictures of this leopard in the tree checking out the bait. However, the previous 2 or 3 nights, he had fed so heavily, he didn't even bother to feed from the bait the first night it was moved. Now the process begins, and within the next 2 or 3 nights, we're going to monitor this leopard's activity with our automatic cameras. Once we determine that he's satisfied with the bait and begins feeding on it, only then will we build a blind and set up Mackenzie for his hunt.
What are we going to do here, Nigel?
We're going to hang the 2 pieces of kudu, put it on that fork there, and I'm going to clean out all this so that if we do have lions feeding, we can put a bait. See that antlers? We can put a blind behind there.
So we're going to get rid of all this?
I will clean that all out.
Okay. The last bait we checked, we had lion, leopard, civet cat, hyena, and Cape buffalo.
There's nothing exciting happening here. It looks as though a lion did feed. There's no pictures, okay, and if he did feed, the hyenas have obliterated everything in the meantime. So we're going to drop the useless pieces of meat, okay, just the hide and whatnot, and we're going to hang a fresh piece. I'll set a camera up properly, and we'll get Peter to build a blind up in that tree there. That isn't lion, because if it was lion, there would be claw marks in there where he would grab it. And this is typical hyena, because a hyena cannot stand up there, so they jump and they pull.
Okay.
And then you're left with these long tendrils.
Because it tears out.
Yeah, because he's got to tear it out, okay? Whereas a cat would have chewed that off nice and neatly because he can stand up there and feed that way.
Nigel would point out, you know, a leopard, you know, this is the male leopard feeding here, female leopard feeding here. That main hair looks longer than the one that's on the camera.
No, it's the same guy. You see how pale it is?
That's a deep one. Yeah.
So look for those lion tracks in the sand here. Just get quietly, because you don't know what you might see here.
Elephant tracks and poop. That was a soft one.
So now the hunt intensifies, because after checking the bait in the morning, we have found that the leopard has had a big meal off of his new bait. This is very exciting news, because not only do we have the documentation from the automatic cameras indicating that the cat fed during legal shooting hours, which in Tanzania is 30 minutes prior to sunrise and no longer than 30 minutes after sunset. Now we know that the cat is feeding within those parameters. The blind will now be built, and Mackenzie will begin his quest for this monster leopard.
Which way do they think he's gonna come in from?
I'm hoping they're coming from that side, or the cats, the lions anyway, were coming from the river, which is about 200 yards away the other side.
And it would help us to choose where we want to put a blind, because if he's coming in this way, you don't want to put it there, or if he's walking that way, you don't want to put it there. So you want to put it like where you're going to catch him perfectly coming in, getting on the right branch, that you have the bait, where you can take the clock. I need to clean all the leaves out of there.
The thing about leopard hunting is you have to be extremely quiet. PHs do not like you making noise. I know we had throat lozenges to try to keep from coughing. It was just quite an experience from a lot of different reasons.
We hunted many days, and the night before we got in the morning blind, we were sitting in blind, being really quiet, and also hear little, like in the water, like all look at each other and like kind of do this, like see if we all hear that. And then there's like a lot more of it, like, you know, like kind of just like looking at each other, like what's going on? And all of a sudden this plane flies over the top of us. And also you hear these elephants go and like splash in the water, they're running, and you're like sitting there wondering if they're gonna come in. You got these little windows that only you can look out, and you can't be moving around, going like this, in the blind.
We could hear them making tons of noise. You just didn't know where they were coming. Different leopard blind, different late afternoon, it was getting dark. We could hear elephants coming in the tall grass.
But when those elephants are running towards you, you don't know what's going on. You think you can run over. Looking at the pictures off the trail cameras, we've seen several young male leopards on baits, a few females, but then we came to this one leopard. He was a great specimen. Fortunately, it was a 2.5-hour drive from camp. We had to get him extremely early, but it was well worth it. I didn't get much sleep that night. All I could think about was the monster leopard. The reason it's so exciting is because any minute you could be sitting there and your PH taps you on the shoulder saying, there's a cat. It's a cat of many hunters' dreams. It's a cat of a lifetime. Could be walking in right to the bait, and you could get your chance. We may be in the blind maybe 20 minutes max, and the sun was just barely creeping up in the background, and Nigel tapped me on the shoulder and said he's in the tree. Got my gun slowly up, looked through the scope at him, and Nigel said, whenever you're ready, take him in. I took the shot. After the shot, the leopard kind of jumped out of the tree, which you really don't want. You want him to fall out, but it was kind of like he hauled on and then kind of sprung out, so it was kind of good looking. And we heard, and then it was quiet. So we all sat there like, because the noise was coming towards the blind for a minute, and then it stopped, and we're like, sitting there like, and so we sat there for a little bit, and Nigel just kind of whispered to us, we'll wait till it gets a little bit lighter, and then we'll go out and check. So we waited till it got light, and I just said, you know what, the guys are here. You guys just wait in the blind, because I knew it was going to be dangerous, so that was kind of another reason why Nigel said, just stay here. And him and the trackers went out there. They had sticks, and Nigel had a big gun, and all of a sudden there came...
They got it.
Yep. When the leopard jumped out of the tree, he kind of ran towards us, but he was doing that little, the last little breaths, and he fell down there right in front of the blind, which is kind of cool. And
Okay. Good. Oh. Good. Kabubi. Well done. Okay.
Day 10 in Tanzania started off with a bang. Last night we sat for this leopard. He didn't come in. We looked at the trail camera pics and we decided, well, he's a morning feeder. So he got in the blind this morning, and I don't know how long it was. It was a couple minutes, like 20 minutes maybe. And all of a sudden I was like, he's in the tree. And I was like, oh, seriously?
the PH told me to shoot him, so I shot him.
So we came out, and he's a big, beautiful leopard, and it's the third big 5 animal that I've shot on this trip. We're after the Simba and Tembo to the rest of this hunt. So what do you think about the leopard hunt from yesterday till now?
I think it was quite a deal, eh?
Mm-hmm.
He never came in the evening. I think it's because those elephant came and started walking.
Yeah.
And you can see how far the bait is to the water hole.
Yeah, a
And,
few feet.
A Kabubi is a big celebration. Back in the day when the Maasai had to protect their livestock with spears, the leopard and lion were the main predators for their cattle and sheep and goats. And so they'd have a party every time one of the warriors come back with a leopard or a lion, but it still is a big party today. On the way back to camp, we stopped, got branches, and we decorated the truck, decorated me.
Cool. Kabubi.
We saw a couple of Kabubis on TV before, but I think the guys at camp, at the Rungwa camp with Jack Breedingham's outfit, I don't know if they go all out that way, but they went all out for Mackenzie's Leopard. I didn't realize there was that many people at camp that worked there.
The bigger guys in camp, they grab a chair, they come over and I get on the chair and they carry me around for a little bit.
And this went on for a good 2 hours. And then everybody had their picture made. It was a very exciting morning.
Everybody had fun, we danced, we had the leopard sit in front of me in a chair, and they danced around me, and everybody was happy. After that, Nigel says, everybody, one free drink, let's go get it. You know, and all the trackers and all the camp staff are really happy because they get to, you know, they get to have a good beer. Not me, but I'll stick to Coke for now. Trackers are so amazing. I had looked where they're pointing to see, you know, because they'd be like, oh, here's where the buffalo went in, the trees, and this is where the leopard came out. I don't see nothing there, really. But if you get really down close to it and look, you notice that there's actually a little bit of a track there, but they could be standing 3 feet away and they'll be like, oh, there's a track right there, and walk right, keep on tracking it. It's just so amazing. They have a sharp eye for that kind of stuff. These guys have lived on this land their whole lives. They know it like the back of the hand. They know the animals and the signs of their passage. The PHs get most of the attention, but the trackers are the unsung heroes of the hunt. The relationship that develops between a hunter and his trackers is pretty neat. Getting to know the trackers over the course of the trip added one more thing that was truly memorable to my safari.
Our trackers, Pedro, James especially, those two guys, you couldn't ask for better people to be around in that environment. James, our tracker, a young man about 26 years old, smiled 100% of the time.
And James, I kind of liked him the most out of all of them just because he was kind of like a little kid. He was like the same height as me, and he was pretty funny. He had good jokes. He laughed a lot, too. Going first, James. And Petro, he was a native there, and he didn't speak too much English. He ate some funny stuff. He was actually a guy that would eat baboon, and the other tracker's like, no, 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 no. He collected honey and stuff, and he made a necklace for me and my dad that was good luck. One of my trackers, Andrew, he's kind of the more shy one of them all. He just kind of sits in the back of the truck and just kind of keeps himself. But when he gets out of the truck, he's just willing to help. He's actually a pretty big guy compared to the rest of them, especially James. And around Kabubi time, Andrew was always there. He was yelling, he was singing, he was really excited. That's how they are. I want to say a special thank you to all my PHs and trackers that I've had on the safari and will have on the safari. I really appreciate you guys for the help.
Kabubi.